LA Knight finally did it. LA Knight is finally a champion in WWE, and I just can't help but feel happy for the guy. This is a dude who started wrestling in 2003. Like, it took him over 20 years to get to this moment, and while it was a bit of a shaky ride, he stuck through it, and at the young age of 40 can now call himself United States champion. That's what I call determination and full belief in yourself.
These right here are the shoes of a champion. This jacket right here, shoes of a champion. Wait, did I say shoes of a champion? Yeah!
LA Knight's story is an inspirational one. We've actually covered this on the channel before, but in this video we're gonna take a focus on his past year in the WWE and how he managed to stay hot despite a lot of people saying the opposite would happen.
I see the talk and people are like, oh, I don't know, I think LA Knight's falling off. Am I falling off now? Because I think last night when I walked out there and everybody got standing up yelling LA Knight, my guy, new US Championship, we're only taking off from here.
So, in summary of the previous video, LA Knight truly began picking up steam in the wrestling world during his time as Eli Drake in TNA.
And that's not an insult, that is just a fact of life. As I look around here, I see Impact Zone. It's gonna be the fans of Impact. Dummy, yeah.
This is where he essentially developed the character you see on TV today. Of course, he polished his work over the years, but LA Knight is essentially Eli Drake, but better.
Eli Drake is not a creature of circumstance, but rather a creator of circumstance. And the circumstance that I create is a circumstance that's advantageous to me.
When he finally made his way to WWE, he started on the NXT brand. A lot of people didn't like him at first. It just felt like he was trying too hard. But over his time there, he got better and better until his eventual face turn when he began a feud with Grayson Waller. This is where his NXT run took off, in my opinion. The Performance Center was jumping out of the seats for him on a weekly basis, and that began the Yeah movement as we know it today, with a lot of fans claiming he'd be the next big thing once he got called up. And hey, his call-up looked pretty promising until it actually happened. Vince McMahon apparently hated the LA Knight character because almost immediately after he was called up, they stripped away everything that made him popular. No more yes, no more with everybody saying. They literally got rid of everything and renamed him Max Dupri, a male model manager.
He didn't say that. Tell me he didn't just say that.
Are you guys confused? Because I for sure was when this was happening. Like, why would they do this? His character was already super popular in NXT, just do the same thing but on the main roster. But anyways, despite the new weird character, LA Knight made the most out of it and was still very entertaining in the new role. But of course, Vince didn't like that either. And Max Dupri / LA Knight would have likely gotten fired if Triple H didn't take over creative.
Well, let me just go ahead and say this. I'm pretty sure I was fired and it just hadn't officially happened yet. But without getting into too many details, some things happened. I don't remember what it was, but some things happened. And then I had gotten a FaceTime. Hey, we want to keep you around. We want to do this, that, whatever. And okay, cool, good. So somehow I'd been saved from being thrown off the cliff.
Triple H over a month's time reverted Max Dupri back to LA Knight and started using him more prominently on TV in a feud with Bray Wyatt, may he rest in peace. His feud with Bray, while illogical at times, was very entertaining and gained LA Knight a lot of goodwill with both the fans, despite the loss of the Royal Rumble, and the people making the decisions in WWE. This was truly a make it or break it moment for LA Knight, because creative didn't really have any plans for him after this. So they wouldn't have gone back to him if he didn't do well in the spot. And he did, man. He killed it. Everyone was on the LA Knight bandwagon after this. And yeah, this was his one chance to make a statement, and he did. Well, he wasn't used much on the build up to WrestleMania 39 or even at WrestleMania 39, which hurts me to this day, man, because how can you have an LA WrestleMania without LA Knight?
Ain't gonna be a WrestleMania moment, it's gonna be an LA Knight moment. Yeah. Nah.
But creative ended up having plans for him after the fact. Notably the build up to Money in the Bank 2023, where he'd have a couple of encounters with a familiar face.
Just take that briefcase and smack LA Knight upside the head with it. I would love to say that. His briefcase above me.
The contrast of these two in the ring together was crazy. Like, one dude is absolutely hated by the crowd in Logan Paul, and one dude is a fan favorite, man. Everyone loves LA Knight, man.
So tomorrow night, you look at that case, you gotta realize the odds are on me for a reason, because I am the one and the only megastar with everybody saying.
LA Knight's reactions in London were insane. The crowd desperately wanted to see him win the Money in the Bank briefcase, but he came up just short. People were really mad about this. You of course had the claims that he was buried and that the WWE was fumbling him, but in hindsight, with what we've seen from Damian Priest, it just wasn't his time, and this was definitely the right call. Following Money in the Bank, he stayed in limbo for a bit until he won the Slim Jim Battle Royal at SummerSlam 2023. This match was extremely random, but I honestly believe it was built just for him. They wanted to give LA Knight a big win so you'd have momentum heading into the fall, where you'd have a big time match against Roman Reigns at WWE Crown Jewel. But just before that, he teamed up with the ultimate babyface John Cena at Fastlane to take on the Bloodline. LA Knight did most of the work during the match, picking up the W again to give him more momentum heading into Crown Jewel. During the build up to this match, we had a couple of great segments. One that comes to mind is when LA interrupted Roman's entrance. That saved us from 10 minutes of Roman Reigns walking down to the ring, man. I was grateful. And this shot of Roman staring down LA and that being shown on his shades, this is such a tough picture. The build, while it was decent, it didn't really get me that hyped up for the match, because I already knew how it was gonna play out, so I couldn't really buy into it. But regardless, I have to say that they both delivered in a big way during the match at Crown Jewel. The Saudi crowd was super into LA Knight. Of course, the Bloodline interfered, leading to a loss, but this was still a huge moment for him, getting to main event a show one-on-one against one of the biggest stars in wrestling today. This match also silenced a lot of doubters who said LA can't perform in the main event, saying he isn't good enough. He proved that he can hang in these spots. 2 months later, he'd find himself fighting for the WWE Championship yet again in a fatal 4-way at Royal Rumble. Roman again wins due to Bloodline interference, but at this point I think everyone was expecting it.
It's the same thing over and over and over.
What was unexpected, however, was LA Knight's WrestleMania opponent. Let's rewind back to Fastlane in 2023. Originally, it was meant to be AJ in LA Knight's spot, but unfortunately he got injured and AJ made the claim that it should have been him taking on Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel and not LA Knight.
You had the audacity to steal momentum at my expense.
This was a storyline entry, by the way, so yeah, this is fully in kayfabe. Some people thought it was real, but no. AJ didn't actually get injured. Bringing it back to 2024 at the Elimination Chamber in Perth, AJ Styles interfered and got LA eliminated from the match. Keep in mind that AJ Styles was not on the card, so he literally flew all the way from the United States to Perth, Australia to make sure LA Knight doesn't win this match. That is legendary hating right there. Other things of course happened in between, but these two moments were the primary reasons both of them were mad at each other, and it eventually led to them having a great match at WrestleMania 40. The build to the match itself was really fun. It featured home invasions, a broken TV, people getting arrested, and even a public brawl. So many people groaned at this being a WrestleMania match, but it ended up being super entertaining and gave LA a huge win at his first ever WrestleMania. Following his big win, LA was stuck in limbo for a while. This is because the next logical step would be for him to go after the championship, right? But he wasn't going to go after Cody Rhodes since he's a babyface. And Logan Paul, they wanted to save that for SummerSlam in Cleveland. So he was just kind of in limbo from WrestleMania up until this past weekend at SummerSlam. So LA entered the King of the Ring tournament and lost in the semifinals. He entered the Money in the Bank ladder match and lost again. But in the process, he picked up a monumental win against the US champion in a triple threat match.
Now you look at that, you look at what happened right there. Every single person in this building right now. What happened right there is I pinned the United States champion.
Remember when I said the contrast between these two was jarring? Well, 1 year later, that stayed the same. It's a testament to LA that he managed to keep the fan support for this long despite not winning any championships. Because we all know that fans can be a little bit fickle at times, but in this case, they stuck with their guy, they stuck with LA Knight. The builds to LA Knight versus Logan Paul, I can't lie, was pretty mediocre. The reason being is because they had to stretch it out over such a long period of time that eventually near the end it just ended up losing steam. But at the same time, I can't argue with it too much because their match at SummerSlam was amazing and it took place at a stadium in front of 57,000 people, so I'd say it was worth it for them to hold out. Logan Paul, for all that is wrong with him, is an incredible athlete. He pulled up moves I've never seen before, man. Like what is this?
Knight was going to be sitting there as he's springboard moonsault by Paul.
And LA brought out his A game as well, pulling out moves I've never seen him do before. All of this made for an excellent match, and the fact that the right guy won at the end was a chef's kiss. With him finally getting over the hump, I'm curious to see what's next for the megastar. I can't wait for this SmackDown, especially after seeing what happened on Raw. That Raw was fire. I can only imagine the same will be true for this SmackDown. Let me know what you guys think is next for LA Knight. Do you think they're going to do a rematch with him and Logan Paul? I don't know. It's for sure possible, but I hope we find out sooner rather than later.
There's always plenty of times where it's like, okay, well, maybe things aren't quite going my way. Maybe I'm not quite getting the things that I'm looking for. Maybe I'm not quite getting the recognition I'm looking for. But at the same time, if I don't see it, then damn sure nobody else is going to see it. So for me, I don't know if I'm just empty-headed enough or what it is, but I don't know how to quit. I don't know how to stop, and that as legit as I can be. I just don't know how.
Hey, welcome to the Deep Cut. If you're new here, this is an unedited section of the video where I just talk about things that come into my mind while making the video. One of them was, dog, thinking about it, LA Knight is a crazy name, bro. Bleacher Report on Instagram posted something about Logan Paul losing the US title to LA Knight, and yeah, a lot of the comments were like, what is an LA Knight, bro? What type of name is that? And that's true. Because even when I first heard it, it's a bit jarring, bro. Like, what is that? Like, it's such a weird name, but he makes it work. Yeah, speaking about those comments, people were still in there saying wrestling is fake. And bro, at this point, you just have to realize that some people are never gonna get it, and they won't ever have an appreciation for wrestling the same way that wrestling fans do. And that's completely fine, man. It's not for everyone. I just wish they were just more respectful about it and would like understand it first before saying that, you know? Because you wouldn't say it's fake if you knew what was actually happening. But yeah, one other thing which I found hilarious, looking through the LA Knight and AJ Styles clips, AJ Styles always finds a way to mention Phenomenal in his promos, and I find that so funny, bro. Phenomenal has to be in there somewhere, and it's so funny, bro.
And I am a phenomenal choice for the job.
Let me know what video you guys want to see, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.